40 years of developing hockey players from youth to the pros, Minnesota Hockey Camps has a player development program for you. Located in Breezy Point, Minnesota, our professionally coached on-ice development sessions, off-ice speed training, weight room sessions, stick handling sessions, shooting skill sessions are the right program for you. MHC takes great pride in its tradition with developing NHL players like Chris Stewart, Ryan Bugsy Malone, Scotty Hartnell, and TJ Oshie. Our dedicated staff is ready for you. Come check us out at MinnesotaHockeyCamps.com. Sign up for your chance to become the player you've always wanted to be. Hashtag who will be next.
Cold showers, leaking pipes, furnace giving you the chills? Look no further. At Iron Range Plumbing and Heating, we've got you covered. From expert plumbing solutions to HVAC magic and all sheet metal work, we are your one-stop shop for comfort and reliability. Professional service from a team that cares. Say goodbye to household woes and hello to peace of mind. Call Iron Range Plumbing and Heating today and feel the difference.
At Grand Rapids Chevrolet GMC in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, we have the trucks. Over 47 new Silverados and Sierras sitting currently on the lot with more to come. We have all the options: LT, RST, LTZ, High Countries, ZR2s. We have heavy duties. We have Sierra, SLT, Elevations, Denali's. We are equipped for the truck you are looking for. With great rebates currently, with up to $12,500 off on select models, now would be a great time to take advantage of savings and get yourself into a new truck today. Grand Rapids GM in Grand Rapids, Minnesota.
Welcome everybody to the Tea with Miss McGill Show, presented by our friends up at Fortune Bay Resort and Casino. Fortune Bay Resort and Casino is Minnesota's #1 casino. Visit fortunebay.com right now. Get your trip booked. They're on beautiful Lake Vermilion. They have 172 rooms and a smoke-free resort, indoor pool, full-service marina, RV park, world-class golf, several dining options, bar, and all the gaming you can handle. FortuneBay.com is where you go. Get all the details. Plan your trip right now. We've got lots of snow, more coming tonight.
No.
So plenty of powder.
No.
Get the sled going. Plenty of walleyes in Lake Vermilion. Get the fish on. Plenty of gaming. Get your game on so you can get it all done right there at Fortune Bay Resort and Casino. And by the way, I talked to them today. We just finalized. We got the party coming. So at the party, Fortune Bay has generously offered a a premier room, and a $50 gift card to the steakhouse. So we're going to give that away at the party.
Nice.
Random drawings.
Nice.
So we'll talk more about the party at the end, but come down, get registered, come to our party, February 22nd, Green Mill, Canal Park, and like I said, you have a chance to win a premier room, good for any night of the week, and a $50 gift card to the steakhouse up there. All right, week 12 of the high school hockey season. It is Puka speaking. Star of the show, Coach Reed Larson. Look at how are we looking?
We did not, by the way, we did not plan this. It's kind of interesting because we were just saying this in the pre-chat that we literally never talk during the day before we record a show. It's usually you shoot off an email and this is what we're talking about
agenda,
today.
yeah.
And then boom, we don't really even talk from the time that we had the show last week until now.
Right.
And this is where the way we showed up right
So 103 episodes in.
103.
And it took us 103 to
to
match.
actually show up wearing the same thing and didn't even ask.
Yeah, didn't even ask.
No.
I mean, of all the things, it's crazy. So, all right. So, yeah, again, episode 103. We got one new sub this week, Dogs and Park. So, whoever Dogs and Park is, we appreciate you subscribing. All of you out there be just like Dogs and Park, and please subscribe today. It's a great way to support the show at no cost to you. Yeah, so episode 103, like I said, week 12. We were just talking a little in the pre-chat too. Boy, we're getting close. Playoffs, like you can smell it.
Yeah, most teams are 22 games in or 23 games into the season. They're looking at 3 or 2 games left. I know with us, we have 2 remaining in the regular season before the playoffs starts. Some teams are sitting at 3 games left, maybe at the very most at 4. That's kind of a grind. Usually the seating takes place mid next week. Is it next Wednesday or next Friday? I'd have to double check on the date. Could be Wednesday. Could be Wednesday,
it's right here.
the 12th. If it's not, it'll be Friday the 13th. Or Friday the
14th, yeah.
14th.
Okay.
So it will be next week, so that's when the seedings come out as far as single A and double A.
Yeah, we're right there. All right, smash the like button right now. We're going to giddy up into our games of the week, presented by the Ring Sports Bar and Grill over in Eveleth. We talk about them often because they should be talked about, because Monday is Burger Night, Tuesday is Taco Tuesdays, Wing Wednesdays, Fish Fry on Friday, all you can eat, the legendary over in the Quad Cities, and Saturday, Prime Rib. So as you know, right? And there's also the Rink Burger. Plenty of fries.
The Rink Burger.
Coach Larson's favorite. So
I'm still trying to digest it. It was huge.
You cleaned it up. That was very impressive. That was very impressive.
I gained a couple of lbs. Well, it was worth it.
You said a couple weeks ago it would take your wife a week to eat all that food, right?
It would. That would feed her for a week. Yep.
So giddy up over to the Ring Sports Bar and Grill anytime you're in the Quad Cities. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Like I said, nightly specials, 248-8582. Or you can order on the ringsportsbarandgrill.com. All right, going to go back basically a week. We'll go back to last Thursday, almost a week ago, right here at Yanmar. The big matchup, highly anticipated, the Rock Ridge, Grand Rapids. If you haven't heard, 4-4 tie, plenty of action, full building, lots of excitement. I don't know where you want to start with this one. I just was going to throw a little comment out here. It looked like Jonathan might have started a little shaky. Would that be fair? I mean, you think? Or?
Yeah, I mean, you got scored on in the first shift. I think anytime that happens, you feel like you're shaky, but he settled in.
Yeah, I think he settled in. Yeah, 100%. So, back and forth. Obviously, great overtime. Shots end up being 47-30 in favor of the Thunderhawks. But I guess just looking back, kind of what you expected, or what are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we expected from Rock Ridge was the skill that they have up front. They've got DeBerrio is a highly skilled player. Bielke's fast, plays the game the right way. Flatley's a nice player. They've got a couple of D-men that are tough back there, but they got a young core that I like, and Bardovich and Cal Scott. That's a nice group of guys, and I know a lot of the kids that are there and the families that are there, and they've got a nice core to produce some offense for that team, and a goalie that has been playing really good. I mean, he's on his game, and they've got a couple of big-bodied defensemen. So,
yeah, quite a few.
Yeah, and they're big, right? I would say that their strength is their skill up front with their first line and their second line. And I think their power play is pretty good. I think they're in the mid-30s with their 33 or 34 with their power play percentage, and that's because of Kaz Carlson and DeBerrio. So, the question of the day was, well, Kaz Carlson didn't play in the game, and they were missing one of their top players, and and that was a disappointment for us because we want to see everybody's best when we play them, and it was. It's almost like you have a little bit of a secret to hide until playoffs, and it's like, it's not a secret. Everybody knows how he plays.
Yeah.
So, and the other piece of the puzzle is not only there was two Carlsons missing from that game.
Right.
Kaz was missing from their lineup, and Seth was missing from ours. And if people can remember how Seth contributes to our team, he was not the sole reason, but a big reason why we made it to the state tournament last year. He scored the tying goal in the game winner in overtime. So that's a big miss. I don't want to sit and try and say it's a complete wash. It wasn't even wash. I don't want to say that because then you got controversy. So all I'm going to say is everybody was missing something, so we don't even need to have that conversation. But it ended up in a tie, and it's almost like a tie?
Yeah, really? I know. Yeah. I did not have that in my bingo card anywhere that it was going to be a tie.
That was not expected on any side.
No,
I can tell you right now that I don't know how Rock Ridge feels about a tie, but a tie is to me like you didn't win the game. We didn't win anything.
Right.
It's almost like we didn't even play the game, to be honest with you. When it comes to how seeding works and how everything goes, we don't need to go down that rabbit hole yet. We've got a week left before we play. But it's almost like the game didn't even get played. The first half of the game was dominated by the orange and black. And the latter part of the third period in the overtime, Rock Ridge had the edge. So, however you want to look at the game, it ended up 4-4. Nobody really comes out of that game with high thumbs in the air like, hey, look what we did, because you both walked out of there, kissing your sister, so to speak. It's a tie, which it's not fun to see. You wanted to see somebody win, and it didn't help anybody.
Yeah, 100%. You're speaking of the big defenseman, so Easton Walters, we talked about him. He's a guy that can get into penalty trouble. No penalties against you guys. And as I was talking to people in the crowd, and I was just going to see if you share this opinion, but many people have said Rock Ridge's reputation is they are an undisciplined team. After seeing them, do you compared to all the teams you've seen this year?
I don't want to say undisciplined. I think there's areas of the game that are very disciplined.
Okay.
I'm sure what people are referring to is the discipline of taking, penalties that are.
Yeah, that's what I meant. You're right.
You can look at discipline in the game of hockey, 5 different ways. How do they listen to coach? How do they stay away from the penalty box? How do they play the game? And one of the things that I can say that I thought they were very disciplined is their structure was disciplined. I think they do and play the game the way that Coach Niskanen wants them to play. Did they get into some things after the whistle? Well, I don't think I have to answer that question.
Well, we saw. Yeah,
it happened.
Yeah,
it was there, and it happened after the goal that was scored that they scored. I think it was their first goal, was it?
Yeah,
the second goal.
No,
Maybe
first
second
one. I think it was a tire.
Tied.
Yeah.
At any rate, Joe Carpenter was the one that was the GOAT on that one. Took that one from a guy that came from Red Line. But at any rate, it's neither here nor there when it comes to that as far as discipline. I don't have an answer for that because, like I said, there's areas where I think they're very disciplined and maybe areas that they're kids, Yeah. I can say the same thing about our team. I can say that we're very disciplined in some areas, and I think there's some areas that we're not very disciplined. Everybody's got strengths and weaknesses when it comes to that, and they're kids.
Yeah, well, they're kids, right? Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So, all right. So, like I said, 4-4 tie. You guys held Dimberio Diesel pointless, so that hasn't happened very often this year. But so they continue their unbeaten streak. I think they pushed it to like 16 with another win last night over Duluth East that we'll get to. So unbeaten in like 16 for Rock Ridge. And like I said, exciting game, kind of everything I had hoped for. Big crowd, lots of noise.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
That was the highlight of the night, was the amount of people here. And hats off to everybody in the community here that saw the game as being a big game and they wanted to be here on that Thursday night. And another hats off to the East Rangers that decided they want to make the trek over an hour drive to come here, because it's always fun to see this barn packed to the top.
Yeah.
And it was packed to the top. There was, I can't even guess how many people. I'd say 3,500 people in here, no question about it. The last time I saw this building this full was 2017 or 2018, whatever can't remember if it was one of those 2 years, which one it was, but it was when Grant was coaching over in Greenway, and Greenway was really good, and Klatt was still coaching, so it must have been 17.
Yeah, I think,
17. They were playing in this building. Grant took his team over here as Greenway versus Rapids, and I made the drive over because Virginia wasn't playing that night, so I wanted to see it. It was full.
Yes.
That was the last time that I saw the building that full as it was last Thursday. So that is kudos to everybody on the range, that Iron Range and Northern Hockey is back, and I love it that there could potentially be a new rivalry, and I love the idea that it could come down to these two teams meeting in order to represent represent Section 7 in St. Paul.
That's awesome.
I'd like to think that's how it's going to end. We got other things to talk about.
There's other teams making a bid. Now, speaking of Coach Clafton, so Rock Ridge ties the game early in the third, calls a timeout. Coach Clafton's one of those guys that he rarely leaves a game without using his timeout. He's one of those. I remember last year when you guys had, I think it was Wyzetta in town. You had a 5-on-3 first period. You got an early power play, timeout. To get the guys ready. It's like, I don't necessarily need the details of what he said, but was it more of a calming, like, hey, let's just focus, or what was kind of the?
I think there was something that was going through his mind, and now trying to come back at it. I don't remember what the purpose for it was, but I can just tell you from a coaching standpoint that there's reasons to take timeouts throughout the course of the game. Sometimes you take a timeout because it's an opportunity to score a goal and you need your best 5 guys out on the ice and they're all gassed because they were out there. Or it's a power play and you want to make sure you have the right guys out there. Or there's a few things that you want to draw up to try and get something done. And again, going back to it, I'm drawing a blank as to when we called that timeout, what the reasoning was for, but ultimately it was a good reason to take one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, he's rarely a guy that goes the whole game without, he's not afraid. Like I said, it was the first period. 99% it was Wayzata last year, and you guys got a 5-on-3 right away. And boom, timeout. He wanted to get the boys ready, talk to them, and get
well,
things,
the 5-on-3 situation, I can tell you that 100%. It's because you had yourself probably a little bit of a power play that you were going 5-on-4 and your first unit started, and then bang, you took another penalty. Now it's 5-on-3 with another minute 20 left. In the other one, so you got a 5-on-3 for quite a bit of time. He's thinking, I just had my top guys out there for 30 seconds. I need to get them rested, talk them through it. It was probably one of the first times during the season that you had to set up how you want to run the 5-on-3, because you don't always practice that as much as you do the 5-on-4. You don't.
That's true.
When you're practicing the power play in practice, you're doing that 2 to 3 days a week. When you're practicing, maybe it's a half an hour, maybe you're doing it for a full practice one day, which is what we do sometimes.
Yep.
You don't practice the 5-on-3 as often as you should. And sometimes you need a refresher on the whiteboard with Coach Clafton on what our plan is.
Sure. Okay.
Which I'm not going to give away
no
for free.
All right. So another game I was keeping an eye on it, but the Rockridge Grand Rapids game was so good that it was hard to take the eyes off of it. But Cloquet visited Hermantown. 3-1 victory for Cloquet Esco Carleton. I don't know the last time. I mean, they were celebrating like they had, won the Stanley Cup. So now Cloquet, number 1 in most single A polls, 18-4 on the season. They've rattled off 4 in a row. Are you surprised with their success?
Not at all.
You were expecting? Okay.
Not at all surprised with it. There's some things that are surprising me in that section right now, and I won't get into those surprises because they're more negative surprises. Like, I can't believe this situation is happening with this team and that team. But this is not a surprise. The expectation of Cloquet being a top 2 or a number 1 doesn't surprise me. We talked about it at the beginning of the season about what they were going to have, and they've got 3 of the most dynamic forwards all on the same line, and they've been playing together for 3 years. They're good. Grady Knudsen, Bobby Thornton, and Nico Gentilini, and they've got a really good defenseman back there. Karsten Young, he's really good. Their goalie's playing good at the right time, so I'm not surprised that they can do that. In fact, they took us in overtime in our building, and we ended up with the win that night. But maybe they should have stayed AA.
Well, that's like I said, I don't know. Yeah, if they were looking down the pipe and saying, I don't know, we're getting weaker or whatever. But like I said, I wasn't expecting this out of them, so I'm happy for them. But it was not, I did not have them.
Will you imagine the wrinkle that puts into Section 7 AA if they would have stayed AA? I mean, now you're starting to talk about the teams that wouldn't be in our section right now if they stayed. Would Andover still be there?
That's true.
It might not be.
Right.
Anoka or one of these other teams that are down there, and I don't even know who's the farthest,
Northern Edge, and
the farthest south that gets kicked out. Who even knows? But
interesting.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me that they're there. They're well coached. They're disciplined. They've got a touch around the net, and they've got a great 200-foot game right now.
Okay.
Their power play is lights out.
Oh, it is. Okay. All right. So keep an eye on Cloquet Esco Carleton. And then the last game, Saturday, Thunderhawks made the trip down to Andover.
Yeah, we made the trip down there, and there's a lot of eyeballs on that game because Andover in Section 7 AA only plays 3 games in the section. Now I've drawn a blank on the other 2 teams that I know they played Duluth East, and Duluth East beat them in overtime, and they played us. So they've got 2 wins, us and one other one in the section. I don't remember who the other one could be. Forest Lake. I'll have to look it up here in a minute when it's your turn to talk. They've got 2 wins in the section and a loss, and their losses to Duluth East. So that loss to Duluth East, because everybody else has beat Duluth East in the section that is in the tops, and Rock Ridge has swept them. We swept them. It's going to be interesting. Denfeld beat them. So, the fact that they lost to them, I think, might kind of take them out of the number 1 spot. But it still could have an issue when Rapids goes down there and plays a good game against a good hockey team, and we end up losing to those guys. And that's something I got to make very clear on this podcast right now. Andover's a good hockey team. They're well coached, and they had a rough start. They had an 0-9 patch at the beginning of the year, and the reason for the 0-9 patch is because of a tough start and a tough schedule. They play one of the hardest schedules out there. Sure. And I think that when people are looking at how they're going to start to rate teams, they have to look at what the schedule looks like. And some schools don't have the luxury, I want to make that very clear, don't have the luxury of using their schedule because they just got into the section 2 years ago and they've been trying to build it. But, there's teams that are now having success that will be able to do that in the future. But they've had a tough schedule for the last decade and have won a state championship in the last 4 years. That's right? So that is one of, how do I say this? That's one of the better teams we've played. Okay. To be honest with you. And I'm not going to sit here and try and point fingers at, well, this, that, and the other, make excuses for losing to a hockey team. That is a good hockey team. And they made their statement. When they're well coached like they are, teams that are well coached play the best at the end of the year. And starting to come to at the end of the year, I shook hands with Mark Manning at the end of the game and I said, hey, you guys are putting together a hell of a second half of the season. He said, thanks. It was a rough start, but things are starting to click. And you know what? You can look at records. You can look at everything all you want with teams. But the first 25 games of the season, we say this all the time, the first 25 games of the season is just practice for the playoffs. Yeah, right. That's all it is. You need to prepare yourself at the level that you're at. And we like the schedule we play at the end of the year. We like that we're playing these tough teams at the end of the year. We got Benilde coming in here on Saturday. We go over to Hermantown on Tuesday. We played Rock Ridge last week. We played Andover last week. We got teams that are top teams that we want to be playing at that level at the end of the year. Sure. They play that schedule all year. Right, yeah. And there's some teams that we play on their schedule that, we definitely like to beef our schedule up to, but we're handcuffed in a few situations. Yeah, so sure. They've got that luxury. And just for those that wonder when it comes to what happened, because I heard this probably 4 or 5 times throughout the course of the last couple of days in school. Well, what happened down in Andover? Andover's good. Yeah. I don't know what you mean by that. What do you mean what happened? They're good. Yeah. We didn't play very bad. We played way better in that game than we did in the Rock Ridge game. Okay. We played better. Okay. Well, yeah, at home, tough. So they're you're down in Andover, obviously. So home game for them. But yeah, they are now, after that 0-9 start, 10-12. I see they lost last night to Blaine. 3-1. They did lose to Blaine last night. Yep. So, but still, after starting 0-9 to be 10-12, like you said, pretty impressive. So we got a lot of. We'll see what happens, right? Like you said, another week or so to go. All right, good time to squash the like button. We'll get into the previews. Aspire Heating and Control, your local Bryant dealer. Bryant is the official heating and cooling company of your Minnesota Wild. Aspire specializes in gas, electric, and hydronic heating and cooling systems for existing and new construction, residential and commercial installations available. Services include forced air systems, boilers, heat pumps, mini splits. They are, of course, licensed and bonded. Give Justin a call, 999-5957, 218-999-5957. A little bit of snow, a little bit of cold. Guys, next week. Did you see next week? No. Wednesday, I can't even look at the weather. Wednesday, -18. Thursday, -20. Friday, yeah. So it's bad a week out. So if you need another clipper coming through? Yeah, next week. So if you need that furnace serviced, Aspire Heating and Control, 999-5957. All right, a few games on the docket we're keeping our eye on. Week
from yesterday, the 2-11, February 11th. Chisholm Hibbing going to play a visit down to Cloquet for a rematch there. So like I said, pretty much looking like Cloquet's going to get the 1 seed. Hermantown, probably Hibbing slide into that 3rd spot. But this could be interesting if Hibbing were to pull the upset.
Yeah, I think Hibbing's got it in them. I mean, they were a night away from, they ended up playing Rock Ridge 2 nights before we played Rock Ridge, and that was a tight game. So they can play good teams when they need to and play the right way, and that's a game that a lot of people have circled on their schedule right now to watch, and I'm excited to see how that one turns out, because I think that's really going to show, are you really up to the challenge to be the number 1 seed, Cloquet? Are you going to seal the deal by taking care of this game, or is there going to be more questions because you dump that one and Hermantown has a few games remaining? Hermantown has a couple of games left to play that are big games for them. They play Benilde, and that's a common opponent. They play Benilde Friday night, who's a top 8, top 9 team in AA, and they play us on Tuesday. So that's a tall tell right there. I mean, obviously there's a common opponent there with Cloquet and Hermantown. They both play us, right? Yep. So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big game. So to see what happens. Obviously, Cloquet is going to have that edge over Hermantown right now because of the win over those guys, and it was a nice win, open net 3-1, but it's good. But I really think Hibbing is going to be able to put up a little bit of a fight on this one. I think they are scratching and clawing right now. They've been waiting for that one game to come climbing out just before they get into the playoffs right now, and now's the time for them to climb out and show their face, just like Groundhog's Day.
Show the face.
Yeah,
that's right.
climb out, show your face.
All right, so that's next Tuesday. And also, I noticed Cloquet heads up to Warroad on Friday. They got Warroad Roseau, so they got, like I said, one of the parents told me we got a tough second half, and boy, were they right. All right, so we kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier. So Benilde, gonna pay a visit here, 3:00 on Saturday.
Yeah, this is one to come out if you don't have anything going on Saturday. It's always tough to fill the seats on a Saturday afternoon in this building. I don't know what the deal is. I think people are off doing their thing Saturday, ice fishing, whatever it might be, snowmobiling, probably what you're going to be doing this weekend because there's a lot of snow coming. But, it seems like we have a tough time getting the building full on the weekend. So come out. There's more than just a great two hockey teams playing here. Benilde, like I said, a top 10 rated team. And Rapids is coming to their game. It's starting to climb up and ready to play for playoffs. So I think that's going to be a battle. But just before the game, we're going to celebrate a Hall of Fame induction into the Grand Rapids Athletic Hall of Fame. The 1975.
Oh,
you take a look out here and see the first orange banner that was hung was the first state championship team in Grand Rapids, 1975's 50-year anniversary this year. And we're going to recognize that team before the game.
Oh, really?
So,
I think Mark DeCenzo was on that.
I believe so.
DeCenzo,
I believe so. There's a DeCenzo or two on that team. And obviously a couple of coaches that are no longer with us right now. Gus Hendrickson passed away last year. We lost Mike Sertich last year as well, too. But I guess Nape is coming back. Jim Nelson's coming back. He's going to be here.
Okay.
So, yeah,
good.
It's going to be fun to see that get inducted and celebrate. We celebrated teams before, on ice, but this is the first time we've celebrated a state championship team.
Yeah, okay.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, totally awesome.
50 years.
50 years. Jeez, tourney's been going on a long time. That's incredible. So, all right. So, yeah, we'll catch you at Yanmar here on Saturday. Scores and more. Presented by Iron Range Apparel. They're on Instagram. They're on Facebook. New location next to Super One there on Highway 53 in Virginia. Gift Buyer's Paradise. Valentine's week from Friday already, right? Yeah, a week from Friday coming up. So you got to get the sweetie something. Iron Range Apparel is the place to do it. Hats, hoodies, visors, of course. The ODR line. I don't know if we're doing enough ODR today, Reek, me and you.
Yeah.
So, and then also, like I said, if you need any of the services as far as some screen printing, that kind of stuff, hats, they do that too. So 741-5138, 741-5138, Iron Range Apparel, Gift Buyer's Paradise. All right, scores and more from the week that was. Warroad rips East Grand Forks 4-0. Okay, 6-5 win over Minneapolis. Now, Minneapolis began lurking in that single A top 10 there, so kind of a close game for them. Roseau, 5-2 winners over Duluth East. Unfortunately, Duluth East downed by Bemidji 3-0. They haven't won since December 17th. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Duluth East record now is 2-21, which...
It's been a struggle.
Yeah, it's been a struggle. It's probably the all-time, low there. And like I said, we're not here to bring down kids, but, it's kind of newsworthy to say that Duluth East is 2-21. Hermantown, 2-1 losers to Moorhead. North Shore, 6-5 winners over Moose Lake Willow River. Brainerd, 4-2 losers to Sartell. Big one last night in the Falls. You see the clips? Little brawl.
Yeah, there's a little Fort Francis Falls, little bit of fisticuffs.
This is going to be like War Road Roseau.
Yeah.
4-3 win.
For the Falls?
For the Falls, over Fort. And like I said, some shenanigans, we'll call it, after the final buzzer. So big one up there. Marshall, 5-2 winners over Proctor. Greenway, 3 RIP winners over Ely. Chisholm Hibbing disposed of Superior last night, 7-0. Rock Ridge crushed Duluth East last night, 5-1. Although I heard that one, it was 2-1 going into
It was just 2-1. It is, you know how that works, especially with a team that's as offensive as Rock Ridge is. It was 2-1, and I think they were hanging in there. The goalie was playing pretty good, from what I heard. We did watch part of it after practice last night in the locker room, or after the game, I should say, in the locker room. We flipped it on and watched part of the end of the game, and when we turned it on, it was 5-1, which was just into the third period.
Okay.
And it sounded to me like, you get an offensive team like Rock Ridge, and the wheels fall off. They can fall off quick, and you can go 3, 4, 5.
Oh, yeah.
Like that.
100%. So, all right. And the Wilderness of Evelyn, 2-1 winners over the Alexandria Blizzard, and the Walleye Scott, CFP Edina Hornets update. The Hornets 2, Hill Murray 3. The Catholics pull it off. So the Hornets sitting at a 15-6 record. Are you surprised they've dropped 6?
Yes and no.
Tough schedule.
They got a tough one too, but it's like actually Hill and Edina played back-to-back nights. They do a home and home.
Oh, really? Okay.
So Hill won this one.
Yep.
Edina won the night before.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I just went to the last score. Oh, really? So is that a long-time tradition?
I don't know how many years they've been doing it, for a couple of years. The last couple of years they've gone home and home. So they played one site, went to the next site the next night and played, and it was a win-loss.
That's cool.
For both.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. All right. Over the weekend, I was playing some hockey ball in Hibbing, some of the men's league stuff. They had the fundraiser for Chisholm Hibbing Youth Hockey. I just want to give a shout out to Steve Estes. So Steve has got a couple of gals in the program now. He didn't. This has been going on for 16 years. So he had no kids in the program. He puts on this year was 26 teams, 3 division. No kids in the program years ago. Kindness of his heart. Every town needs a hero like this. They announced at the banquet that over the past 16 years, they've raised $500,000.
Wow.
This one weekend. So congrats to Chisholm Hibbing Youth Hockey. Congrats most of all to Steve Estes. If you see him around, thank him. Like I said, he did for most of these years. He didn't have a kid in the program, but loved the program and gave back. And like I said, everyone appreciates that. So a big shout out to Steve. Another big shout out, 20-year wedding anniversary for somebody today, I heard.
Lucky me.
There's a rumor going
Lucky
around. Lucky
me. And that's why tonight we're doing the show a little early. Probably posted at the same time. We're doing the show a little early.
Little dinner tonight?
A little steak dinner tonight.
Ooh,
my wife and I. Yep.
That's good. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yep.
20 years.
I'm the lucky one.
You're a lucky one. You are. That's for sure. And then again, just to repeat, we got it all worked out. So the party, February 22nd, we're giving away a premium room, good for any night, and a $50 gift card to the steakhouse up at Fortune Bay Resort Casino. So we want to thank Fortune Bay Resort Casino for all that. And like I said, we'll keep giving you details as we get closer. We won't know the exact time, so we get the schedule and kind of figure out who's playing who. But it's like, I actually saw some people at this men's league banquet. They say, hey, we're going to come down to the party. So we got a few people interested. So we're going to have some fun on February 22nd.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how everything works out for seedings. And if the old Thunderhawks make it to the second round, and that'll be semifinal Saturday. That's the assumption, is that we're going to get to the second round. And then we'll see where we're at. I think the double A teams play in the afternoon, where the single A teams play in the evening.
Right, yeah.
So
what I'm hoping for is like the double A's maybe get done, and then maybe it's Proctor and Cloquet or something. So then you get the double A are on their way out, then come visit us, and then the single A, like maybe Hibbing or something, or somebody's coming in and they're
I may have to ride home with you then. If I take the bus down there, I may have to ride home with you.
You'll be right home with me.
Stick around
100%.
and watch the single A games in the evening.
We need people post-game and we need people pre-gaming. So we're going to try and fit it in like that way in the afternoon.
So I'll be taking the bus down there on that Saturday with the team, but if we're going to go over after our game is over in the afternoon and split the session and then talk to people over at the then I'll have to ride back with you.
That's right. I got you covered. All right. Anything else to add to episode 103?
103, and just like you said, we're wrapping up the rest of the regular season. Next week is the end of the regular season for all teams. We wrap our regular season up on Tuesday night. There are some teams that still play Thursday. I think the seeding, we were kind of questioning that. I'm pretty sure it's on the Friday that week. So it's got to be then, because there's a lot of teams that aren't done yet on Tuesday night. There's a few that will still be playing either Wednesday or Thursday to finish it up. And then it's seed time, and we're into what we said earlier. We're into what you play the season for. The 25 games, it switches over to 0-0 when the playoffs roll around. Nobody cares anymore. And there's a lot of people that get tied up in what are the seeds going to be for this and who's going to get seeded that. And the good news for, at least for Section 7 AA, is, to be quite honest with you, I don't even care what seed we get. I really don't. I don't care for 1, 2, or 3, because to be honest with you, you got to beat them all to get there anyways. And I'm pretty sure that at some point in time, we're going to have to deal with Andover to get there. And I'm pretty sure at some point in time, we're going to have to deal with Rock Ridge in order to get there. And they're looking at the same thing. Who we play the first round is going to end up looking at how are the last couple of games going to end with, the teams that are still scrambling for 5, 6, 7, and 8. And if everybody else can look at it the same way, people get kind of edgy about seeds and where they're ranked and this and that, and they get a little bit weird about it. If everyone can look at it as, hey, in order to get there, you got to win anyways. So let's not get too excited about it. But let's,
no easy games.
And the ones that get all tied up on, well, we deserve the number 1 seed. The ones that get tied up in that are the ones that seem to just like it the easier route. And it's not easy to get there.
No.
So to be honest with you might as well see what it takes in order to get there through the second round. If that's the toughest game you got to get there, then maybe the next game won't be so difficult.
Right.
But at any rate, that's just the way it works.
Well, I said, so we're recording on Wednesday, but semifinal Saturday is 2 weeks from Saturday. 2 weeks from the Benilde game. I just can't believe it. Like I said, it's here. We're just like so close right now. So getting very excited. We're gonna have some great playoff hockey, I think, in Section 7A and AA here this spring. All right. Please comment. We'd appreciate that. Find us everywhere. X, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble. We're everywhere. We'll give you an update on merch when we get some of that stuff rolling again. We're basically sold out. And just a big thank you to the greatest partners on earth: Aspire Heating and Control, the Ring Sports Bar and Grill, Iron Range Apparel, Fortune Bay Resort and Casino, Zorbas of Grand Rapids, Iron Range Goalie Academy, Grand Rapids Chevrolet GMC, Minnesota Hockey Camps, Jackson Hole Moose Hockey Club, Iron Range Plumbing and Heating, and the First National Bank Chisholm Cook. For Reed Larson, I am Puka. Get out there and be your dream. You're tuned to the Tea with Miss McGill Show.
First National Bank of Chisholm, where tradition meets the future. Locally owned and operated from our historic Lake Street location in the heart of Chisholm since 1905. From savings to your first big purchase, we're your partner every step of the way. First National Bank of Chisholm, the power to do more.
All right, fellas. You just can't get the hockey itch out of yourself. The college route isn't for you. Community college route isn't for you. The junior hockey route isn't for you. Well, there's still hockey that you can play. Why don't you check out the Jackson Hole Moose out in Jackson Hole, Wyoming? Take a look at these guys. Full crowds, full hockey, packed houses every night. get a hold of TJ Thomas on Facebook, and he can get you hooked up with what's going on out there in Jackson Hole.
To hear about Zorba's specials. On Mondays, it's Micro Monday. All taps are just $4. Tuesdays, $3 tacos and $4 dos Ekis. Wednesdays, personal pizzas, $8 and domestic taps, $4. Thursdays, we have deals on nachos and $5 Surly taps. We offer trivia on Wednesdays at 6 p.m., bingo on Thursday at 6 p.m., and then karaoke Thursdays at 10 p.m.
Did you know that fascia strength training is great if you have a banged up body and you'd like to heal and get stronger at the same time? Unlike muscle-focused exercise that leaves your body stiff and achy, fascia strength exercise releases muscle tension and fills your body with a spring-loaded power and cat-like agility. Fascia strength is great for athletes and martial artists. If you'd like to pursue this training, take a look at my program, Fascia Strength and Power. I'll leave a link in the description box below.